Peace, God. Peace, gods and goddesses, kings and queens and brothers and sisters. Listen here. I'm SHU AMUN RA. This is part 3 of class. And it's based on why do black men cannot see eye to eye. I gave you illustrations. I showed you video. I read the scripture. Now we gotta get to part 3 about money, resources. These are very important things. You understand? You gotta understand the whole faculty on why we don't see eye to eye. I showed you in the video when Malcolm X was going against the white man and the black brother. And the black brother had no problem sitting there all dignified with himself. You gotta see it in part 2. You gotta go see it. He's sitting there all dignified, asking Malcolm X all kinds of questions and explain to him. And then they try to trip him up. But you see, the genius of Brother Malcolm basically was like, maybe one day in the future that all black men will think in a similar type of magnitude and join forces and think in the same wavelength, and we will be all right. But you see, that ain't the case. It's not to degrade our people, see. I learned that a lot of you don't like when I speak like this. You see, that's one of the biggest issues I have with so many of you. You don't want the truth, you want comfortness. You don't want real truth. You want to be comfort. You want always to point the finger at somebody else. How could you point the finger at someone else when we are the originators? We are the originals. We are the origin. Ain't nothing changed. Every black person not a fucking slave. Let's get this correct. 13 nations, which we seem to not want to talk about, since we just don't want to talk about 13 nations in Africa who sold their own people. We just don't want to talk about that. You talk about it to bring it in the open so nobody else can't use it against you. Then we put that in the box, close it up, toss that sucker over the cliff. So when somebody uses it, you go, okay, we screwed up. We know that. Our ancestors sold us up the river. Remember this. Human cargo is the biggest resources on the planet. You got over 200 million people as slaves here in modern times. Not just in Africa. Let me make that clear. Not just in Africa. Understand it. So, now we got that out the way. See, when you sweep things underneath the rug and you're not trying to understand why black men can't see eye to eye, the answer's always in front of you. You just don't want to acknowledge it. It's not a bad thing. It's accept it. We don't want to see eye to eye because there's different opinions, different ideas. Instead of sitting down, collaborating with each other, with each other's geniuses, everyone is a genius in their own right. Act like civilized human beings, be able to collaborate with each other, and listen to what we have to say to one another. Then see, can we put your ideas, my ideas, in perspective? Put them together and then let it grow from there. This is the way it used to be done. To a certain point. But no man on this planet, I don't care what culture you in, cannot see eye to eye. Because it's not meant for you to see eye to eye. I'm sorry. Y'all take it the wrong way, and I notice that you do. I'm going to break it down to you quickly before I give you more video, and also show you some of these books that I have here that I want you to read, and then you get an understanding what I'm talking about. You're not going to see eye to eye. Simple fact is this here. You're dealing with resources. You're dealing with money. You're dealing with natural resources here on the earth. This sustains us and our living. Understand that. Why does one man decide to rob another man? That's how simple I'm going to make it for you. Why do one black man want to rob another black man? He don't know how much money he got. He could be just as poor or have less than him. So why did he see him as a victim? But he also take a chance of being killed. So why do you do it? We got all the excuses in the world. We can use all the excuses in the world. But let's get to the facts. Because he's seen as an easy victim. He don't like you. But if you hate the white man so much, or all the other cultures, why you don't go rob none of them? Because he know for a fact he gonna be killed. And not because he robbing him, because he black. They gonna chop his ass up in many pieces. Now don't get me wrong. You robbed the wrong black person, you's a dead man. Dead, dead, dead. Why do black men can't see eye to eye? The answer's always in front of your face. I've been saying it all day. Did Malcolm X see eye to eye with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? Yes, he did. He seen eye to eye. Get the book, Malcolm X biography. But after 10 to 12 years passed by, he began to notice. He began to notice information about what was going on in the nation between his great leader. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is great. But what Malcolm made his mistake was, pay attention, he went out to the public and began to display public information to the public when he should not have done that. He was supposed to stay in-house. He's supposed to stay in-house, stay eye to eye, stay in-house, and fix the situation. This is why we got so much information now. Because he went out to the same people who he was battling with. Is that eye to eye? Now, I love Malcolm X myself, without a shot of a doubt. But when you start to do your research and watch these programs, I'm like, why in the hell are you talking about the nation in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the open forum like that? No. No. Now let's move on. You got other situations. You got people calling W.E. Du Bois that he was an agent. You got black people talking about W.E.D. Du Bois was an agent. You got black people talking about Dick Gregory was an agent. Where they get this information from? They talking about Dr. Ben Jonan was an agent. Where's he getting this information? This is black people going in the open forum, spewing this information out. You keep talking about the white man. You keep saying all these things. But you're spitting out information so everybody freaking can see you. Why? But you don't want to talk about yourself. You don't want to talk about what you do. You don't want to talk about your mistakes. You don't want to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of our ancient brothers and sisters. You don't want to talk about that. You want to talk about the ancient genius minds we possess. The blood ties, the bloodline that we come from. But you got to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. So you will thicken the skin of ourselves and our minds. So when somebody uses information, we can break down why and how come. Because jealousy and envy, this is what I'm doing now. I want to break this down. I want to break this down for y'all to get a better understanding. So when somebody try to throw it in your face, and listen here, at times, you look at your brothers and sisters and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, did I use foul language? Did that bother you? Grow up. Back to what I was talking about. You sit up there and you look at them because sometimes you say your behavior is way out of control. Let's go back into history. Genesis chapter 4, verses 1 through 9. When it talks about Cain and Abel. The Creator told Cain to control himself because Cain got so angry that the Creator had favor for Abel, only because Abel brung his offerings from his heart. He said, get that under control. Did Cain do that? Read the Bible. It tells you clearly. He didn't have a second thought to kill his brother. He lured him out in the open field to kill his brother. Black on black, crime. So now, do you understand why we seem not to get eye to eye? Here in 2018, you cannot see why we cannot come together and collaborate. Oh, it's been done. But people can't sit down and just have a simple conversation without the emotions being involved. This is why you will hear a lot of people say, check your emotions. There's only a few great scholars and doctors who literally can sit there and have tough skin. And while a person's trying to tear you apart psychologically, they can sit there and intellectually break you down. Because see, that's the whole warfare. The art of war by Sun Tzu is an intellectual battle. That's all it is. It's a battle. Dealing with the mind. And if you cannot hold ground and stay steadfast, there's a problem. Now I'm going to show you some history. The great Dick Gregory, civil rights activist, social critic, writer, entertainer, conspiracy theorist, comedian, so on and so forth. This man here is one of the great scholars. And some brothers was calling him an agent. They was calling him an agent. Now this is black people who was stating he was an agent. Why would you go in an open forum to say stuff like that? What kind of proof do you possess? This man gave his life to prove and to understand who black people are and the historical history. What's wrong with you? African-American writer and historian. He done pilgrimage up in Africa in the Nile River. Dr. Joseph Ben Johanan. Dr. Ben, for the last 6 years, I've been watching and reading his books, studying his documentaries. Come on now. What kind of game you be playing with your own people? But I gotta beg to differ. Cause are we saying beg to differ because we believe we all from the dark race, melanin race? But are we blood related? Or we are from the same tribe? I mentioned history a long time ago. We're not from the same tribe. And because you're not from the same tribe, here in South and North America, you're divided in so many divisions. You're divided in so many divisions, you will never be able to see eye to eye because you don't know who the fuck you is. Oh, did I use foul language? Wake up! Wake up! Can the black man see eye to eye? Huh? Nat Turner. Nat Turner, enslaved African American who led a rebellion slave and free blacks. Because see, Nat Turner used to help the white man because his master told him to do it. Because see, Nat Turner was supposed to be this special preacher. But in reality, they only told him to read what they told him to read. According to the documents and how the brother made that the movie, Nat Turner took that, according to the movie now, he took that, the master had someone to whip him because he had baptized a white man, and you ain't supposed to be baptizing no white man because you're a slave. Now we can jump into a whole new article on that one, but let's stick to what I'm saying. Nat Turner. Imagine this. He killed those people because when he read the Bible, really read the Bible, pay attention what I'm about to throw at you. I'm about to blow your mind. You see, when you read the Bible for yourself, when you pick up the book, read the Bible, and then open your mind and begin to allow the answers to flow through. What you think he did? What you think he did? He read the Bible again and started seeing it for what he's seen it for. And then he woke up and says, yo, we need to slaughter these people. Now, I know some of you scared and you're probably saying, why are you saying things like that? Well, at that point in time, that's what happened. And believe me not, you had some slaves talking about, are you crazy? You just can't be doing that. Some slaves didn't see eye to eye. That's why I bring that up. Some slaves didn't want to be part of that. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Huh? Understand. Muhammad Ali. Nation of Islam. Huh? A lot of people didn't want him to be a Muslim because he was Cassius Clay first. Don't get it twisted. Huh? You remember when he went against Malcolm X? Malcolm X is the one who introduced Muhammad Ali to the Nation of Islam. At the time, his name was Cassius Clay. Then the Nation of Islam had a problem with Malcolm X. He had to leave Malcolm X alone. Do they see eye to eye? Do they? We don't want to talk about that. Now, you know it hurt Muhammad Ali when Malcolm X got murdered. You know it did. Are we using our common sense? Are we? Here's the Moors. The Muslims inhabited of the North Africa, Libyan Peninsula, Sicily, Italy, Malta. Basically Europe. 711 AD, 1492 AD. During the 10th century. Huh? Get these cards and you'll get this information. Now, we know the Moors existed. We know the Moors existed because they got documentaries, they got books. Listen. We know the Moors went to Europe and civilized Europe. So what's the problem? Why today's Moors and the Muslims and the other institutions can't get along? You got the Moors who don't like to be called black. Don't call them black. But I thought the word Moor means black. Can't see eye to eye. This is not to disgrace anybody. This is to open up your eyes as black men. We need to push all this petty stuff alone. This is why I do this. To put the petty stuff alone. Because too many brothers have passed away and died and sacrificed their life believing what they believe in. Medgar Evers, American civil rights activist from Mississippi, worked to overturn segregation of the University of Mississippi and enact social justice and voting rights. Now, you know a lot of this in this situation here, they didn't see eye to eye because we believe that we shouldn't have had migrated with the white folks. That was a terrible thing. Now, here is another thing. You believe here in America that we should not integrate or migrate with white folks, but in Africa, the continent, the 13 nations can sit there and sell us, our ancestors, to these European people. Oh, don't forget about the Arabs. 600 years of having African slaves. Don't get it twisted. They still doing it now in Libya. Eye to eye. They're not seeing no goddamn eye to eye. It's big business. But get back to here. He was assassinated. He worked for the NCAACP. Excuse me. Murdered by Brian D. Law Bakewith, a member of the Ku Klux Klan, KKK, Ku Klux Klan. Murdered. Medgar Evers. Huh? Eye to eye. See, you got the black people splitting up in different organizations. You heard what Malcolm X said in the video I showed you previous. You believe in integration. Those out there who believe in integration. We don't believe in integration. Because the white interpreter tried to basically go, why you didn't help out those black people who's being killed, beaten, because you said you believe in defending yourself. See, he tried to reconstruct and tried to trap Malcolm in his own words. And then the other Negro in that video tried the same way, but going in another fashion. But the genius of Malcolm X, you gotta see the other video. You gotta see the other video to understand what I'm talking about. But the genius of Malcolm X, he broke it down because he's looking at this black man. You could tell the body movements, how he's looking at this black man. Like, you need to be shot in your face. Sitting with this fucking man here, trying to degrade your own people. Sitting up there want to talk about the nation like that. You see, those white folks, those black folks, see, remember I told you about money? Money's it's a beautiful thing, but it's one of the greatest, terrifying destruction when a man wants it. He can use it for the better good, or he can use it to destroy his own people. And to this day, it's being used. To the smallest, to the highest form. Marcus Garvey, a Jamaican political leader, publisher, journalist, and entrepreneur, Pan-African movement, found the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Community League, the UNIACL, in 1914. He was the most influential leader of the 20th century. Do you know this man had over 100,000 employees, black employees? Marcus Garvey. But you know what took him down? You want to know who the government got? And if you don't know, I'll tell you. Another black man. That's who took him down. And you see eye to eye. You see, when you're dealing with emotions, when you're dealing with people's emotions and their sensitivity, people betray you. Because either you didn't give them what they want or you embarrassed them. So the first impulse is to hurt you. Not to see the bigger picture, but to hurt you. You understand me? One of the greatest of all time, Malcolm X. When I seen his documentary and his DVDs, I always said, you made that one mistake. Now, some people believe he walked a narrow path, which I believe, but I don't think he should have made statements in an open forum. When you didn't see eye to eye with your leader, you went to the people who was trying to destroy you. You went to the people who was trying to expose the Nation of Islam. You went there when you shouldn't have done that. That's where my heart hurts right there. Because this man here, he done so much for so many people. Inspiring people to this day. You see, when you don't see eye to eye, you gotta understand that. John Henry Clark, another great scholar, Pan-Africanism, writer, historian, professor, the pioneer in the creation of African studies and professional institutions in the academic starts in the late 1960s. Founded the African Heritage Studies Association, the Black Courses of the African Studies Association in 1968. John Henry Clark. He didn't see eye to eye. He didn't like the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. There's DVDs, documentaries, when he's talking about Louis Farrakhan. I'm going to show you clips of that in my last and final class. I'm going to show you clips, a lot of clips, so you can understand why black men don't see eye to eye. It always started from the beginning, its origin. Any civilization that you pick up, read their texts, read their books, do research, documentaries, you're going to find out that your emotions will destroy you. If you don't keep it in check, it will destroy you. And it will destroy the people you love. If that don't tell you, I'm SHU AMUN RA. See you. 4.